Dariq Whitehead was the #1 ranked high school basketball prospect when he committed to Duke in August of 2021. Whitehead's size and ability to score made it look like he was primed to have an awesome season at Duke and likely be a lottery pick. But a preseason foot fracture requiring surgery quickly took a lot of wind out of the sails for Whitehead. He missed the first 2 weeks of the season and slowly worked his way into a larger role for Duke before suffering a lower leg strain in late January that once again forced him to miss time and cut down on his minutes. Some people will, possibly correctly, write this season off as a lost season for Whitehead. They can point to his pedigree as a player and some of the explosive scoring ability he displayed in high school. But others will see a fairly significant foot injury that seems to have sapped a lot of his athleticism and an underwhelming season overall at Duke. Whitehead will be one of the players that has the most to gain from a strong showing in March, along with the pre-draft process. The biggest strength for Whitehead is his ability as a shooter. Through 29 games this season, Whitehead has been white hot from beyond the arc, shooting 41% on 3.6 attempts per game. While the attempts don't appear to be super high, it must also be mentioned that he is currently only logging about 20 minutes per game. Per 30 minutes, he's averaging just over 5 attempts per game. All that is to say, he's putting up threes at a pretty healthy clip when he's on the floor and making them at a high rate. Whitehead has a pretty smooth looking shot with a high release that allows him to get his shot off without needing a lot of space. Whitehead has shown he's very capable as a shooter off the catch. He hasn't shown us quite as much off the dribble, but there have been a few moments where he has flashed a nice step back. With his ability to shoot the ball, Whitehead should have a solid floor as a floor spacing shooter at the NBA level. Another strength for Whitehead is defense. I don't think Whitehead is going to be a lockdown wing defender in the NBA, but with his size, length, and mobility, he looks like he'll be a switchable defender in the NBA. Whitehead is 6'7" with a 6'9" wingspan and is a solid 220 pounds. These measurables give him the ability to hang with the vast majority of offensive players on the wing, and his mobility allows him to switch onto guards when needed. While he is mobile, he does look a bit slow laterally at times. This could very well be a product of the lower body injuries he's dealt with this season. If his lateral quickness were to improve, he could be a really versatile defender in the NBA. But as it stands, Whitehead looks like he'll be a solid team defender that utilizes his physical tools and IQ to make an impact on the defensive end. One weakness for Whitehead is shot creation. While Whitehead is a very good outside shooter, he isn't especially dynamic when it comes to creating his own shot. He can handle the ball decently, but doesn't really have any moves that help him create space. This is evidenced by his shooting numbers inside the arc. On the season, he's shooting just 39% inside the arc, going 33 for 85 to this point in the season. He's often forced into taking tough shots when he drives because he's not able to create a lot of separation to get a good shot off. Whitehead can still be a valuable player on offense at the next level, but if he doesn't improve his ability to create good shots for himself, he'll never be a top scoring option. Another weakness for Whitehead is athleticism. This weakness is a bit strange, and I think it may be related to the injuries. One of the reasons Whitehead was such a highly touted recruit in high school was he could both shoot at a high level and also possessed explosiveness as an athlete. From what I've seen of Whitehead this season, I don't see the explosiveness much at all. He struggles to score inside the arc and has maybe been even worse around the basket. He just can't shake defenders on drives and doesn't elevate much to finish over them. All that being said, Whitehead did sustain a fairly significant foot injury to start the season and has battled other minor lower body injuries throughout the season. It's entirely possible he's just been fighting through injury and has had his explosiveness muted a bit as a result. Scouts and teams will be very interested to see how Whitehead performs during the pre-draft process when he is more healthy. This first clip shows off some of Whitehead's ability as a shooter. The play starts with Whitehead receiving the pass on the wing. He fakes an entry pass to get his defender in the air, then takes one dribble inside the arc to get him falling backwards, steps back beyond the arc, and drills the three. Whitehead isn't always the most dynamic shot creator, but when he's able to get a good look, there's a good chance it's going in. This next clip displays Whitehead's relative lack of athleticism. The play starts with Whitehead receiving the hit-ahead pass in semi-transition. He attacks immediately to catch his defender leaning. From there, he basically has a free run to the basket for a dunk. but Whitehead instead doesn't get much lift and goes for the layup, which may have been partially blocked. Athletes at the NBA level are of a much higher caliber generally than players suiting up for Delaware University. If Whitehead's explosiveness doesn't return, he likely will be very limited inside the arc on offense. Dariq Whitehead has been one of the biggest losers in terms of draft position so far this season. He was the highest ranked high school recruit and was being looked at as a possible top 10 pick. After some bad luck with injuries and some underwhelming play for Duke this season, he has fallen out of the lottery in most mock drafts and has fallen into the 20s in some of them. But the silver lining is that Whitehead could be one of the biggest risers during the pre-draft process. Whitehead could rise back up draft boards if he can prove that his struggles this season at Duke were injury related and that when healthy he is a dynamic scorer that can be a versatile defender. If Whitehead can rediscover his athleticism and become that valuable 3-and-D guy, I could see him having a really nice NBA career. But if he is closer to what he has been this season at Duke, he seems more like a bench guy that can space the floor and be a solid defender with the bench unit, but not much beyond that. My NBA comp for Dariq Whitehead is a bigger Quentin Grimes. Grimes is currently enjoying a solid season as a 3-and-D guy for a surging Knicks squad. He doesn't provide you much shot creation or athleticism, but he's great at spacing the floor and chips in plenty on the defensive end. If Whitehead can rediscover some of his explosiveness, his ceiling could be much higher than Grimes. But based on how he's played thus far this season, he looks similar to what Grimes is doing in the NBA.